Rockman 2 hard mode race between Sinister1 and Duckfist. So, boys, take it away.
Woo! Yeah, welcome everyone. Yep, this is the Rockman 2 race. It is on Rockman 2, meaning we're doing this on difficult mode. Everything's going to be a lot harder. It's going to hit us harder, and we're going to have to hit it a lot more times. So, yeah, we'll go ahead and reset the game, get this all set up. We'll go ahead and jump into it because that setup time was long enough for us. So, again, we got Duckfist over here on the left side of your screen. We got Sinister1 on your right. Gentlemen, are you ready?
We're ready.
All right. I'm going to give you guys 5-second countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. I saw that early start by Sinister. I saw that.
Reset.
All right. So
we're good.
We're jumping right here into the first stage. Now, unlike in other Classic Mega runs where you'll see them generally just kind of pick a weakness order and then go in that direction the whole way through, we're actually going to be prioritizing getting the items, item 1, 2, and 3. Very, very useful for just going fast in this game and for some magic tricks you'll see later on. So we're going to be going to Flashman first to get item 3. This is a stage that doesn't benefit really at all from having those items, so that's why they like to come here first. You are dealing with ice physics in this stage, so we're seeing a little bit of trouble from Sinister on the left side, allowing Duckfist to get a little bit of a head start.
It's a pretty simple stage in general, but with Rockman 2 everywhere, it's going to be a little bit more dangerous. With the fights being harder, that enemy right there, the tin can, in normal mode, he just disappears as soon as you shoot him, but you have to do those fancy jumps around him on this mode, and you can end up going into this fight with pretty low health. Sinister's a little bit low here. He's going to have a good fight.
Yeah, again, I talked about how we're playing on Rockman 2, the original version, which is difficult mode on Mega Man 2. Basically, everything's going to take twice as many shots. Where on Mega Man 2, you'd only have to shoot Flashman 7 times with the Buster. Here, you have to do it 14 times.
The swag entry.
This is a very difficult fight. Let's give him some serious time. Should be able to... The epic battle!
Oh,
yeah!
In this game, it's really important not to take deaths like that. You actually take a couple intentional deaths later in the run, and it can put you at great risk of game overing if you take a death in that fight. So that was a very clutch ending there. Duckfist showed exactly how that fight's supposed to be done. It was beautiful.
Yeah, a lot of times you're doing these jump shots to go with it, since that kind of times it to where as you land for the next shot, the iframes are just running out.
So you're watching the item get here. A big difference between the Japanese and US version is the text between those is faster in between each stage. So the Japanese version, if you're going to run difficult mode, this is the version to do it on. It's about 42 seconds faster. The US version is the only way to play normal mode, though. So if you're playing difficult, this is Rockman 2 is what you're going to be playing.
So again, we went to Flashman first, getting that item 3. That's actually not the most useful item. The true MVP of this game is item 1, which we'll be getting from Heatman here. So that's why we're making a beeline over here. We're going to be trying for this strat coming up. We decided the other day, or a few minutes ago, it's called the Hot Shot.
Nailed it.
Being in Heatman. Very good there by Duckfist. And looking over here, these pauses that they're doing, when you pause the game, it actually sort of it resets Mega Man's fall position. So it sort of lets him kind of float a little longer, allowing you to make some of these jumps. And also, we just saw it there on Duckfist's screen. We're going to be setting up here on Sinister's screen as well. Needs to make sure he gets that item low enough to get Mega Man up in the ceiling and then ejecting out the left side. Great job by both gentlemen there. Ooh. That one's on me. Try to clap as you're trying to work through those blocks.
Yeah, this is a very dangerous section of the game. I think a lot of people that tried to do this without item 2 casually probably got thrown off right there where the block appears directly above you.
Yeah, and what's happening there when you're put into the ceiling and then you get that zip to the right? Basically, the devs made it to where if you got in the ceiling, you wouldn't get stuck, so it would eject you. But we use that to our advantage by turning the opposite direction, shooting us in the desired direction all the way across that section, saving a bunch of time.
Yeah, when Mega Man's standing on an item, there's no collision detection with the ceiling, so that's why the item 3 and later the item 1, we'll see, it allows us to push ourselves up into the wall so we can zip out at, incredible speed.
So here we are on Heatman. This is in a lot of ways a dance of sorts. It's random whether Heatman will wait 30, 60, or 90 frames to dash over to you. So because you want to make sure his dashes are the least amount of time possible, you do this little dance where you buffer your jumps, or you jump away from him a couple of times, depending on which RNG he's going to give you, whether it's 30, 60, or 90. Because again, this is difficult mode. Body damage does a ton. Oh, we're trying to pause buffer over it. Oh, I'm dreaming, dude.
Oh, no.
Ah!
That was almost the most impressive thing I've ever seen.
In my entire life. So not to pull the attention away, but we are now on Airman stage for Sinister going in. This is one of the scariest screens in the entire game. He's going to start off with using Flashman's power-up, just freezing all of these different air tikis, I think we decided they were, from the U.S. manual. And then coming up here, he's going to be using Item 1. Normally, this is basically an auto-scroller. You have to kind of wait on these moving platforms going around. He's going to make his own platforms and go across this entire thing, damage boosting off of these Thunder enemies. I did not check their names, but that's okay.
Lightning Lords, I think the manual called it.
Oh, that's pretty sick. And he made it. So, yeah, very nice
good.
job.
That's a very
there.
difficult section of the game.
Good job to both gentlemen.
The problem with missing that section is once you fail it, you're low on item 1 and on flash. And so a lot of times you either have to take an intentional game over or just go through the slow way.
So all this might seem like, oh, okay, this is already a bit of a gap right here. Mega Man 2 and Rockman 2, Fast and I were talking about it. This is a very volatile game. We had a tournament for this game last year, and you can lose tons of time. There's so many places where you can have humongous time losses and big deaths. So,
Sinister with a neat little strat right there. He turns around to make the bird come from the left. No more birds will spawn in from the right as long as there's 2 of those little birds on the screen. So now he can just walk this without having to worry about enemies coming in front of him.
All right, so we got Duckfist coming up here once again on that first screen. Taking the game over to reset his life count, because again, we're going to have some intentional deaths later on, so it's overall much smarter just to take the death there. Fighting Airman right now on Sinister's screen. This guy is a big jerk. Should be able to survive this. Very nice.
2 health's all you need. Sinister came into that fight a little bit lower on health than you want to be. If you get some of those undodgeable patterns, you can be in a little bit of trouble. He got one he could dodge, and that was all he needed, and did the rest of the fight great from there.
All right. Duckfist on that same first screen.
So we saw Duckfist land on the edge of a couple of those cloud platforms. That's difficult to do. It's definitely riskier. You get bonked while by one of those guys, and it's going to knock you right off the cloud platform.
Yeah, that's a pretty common reset point if you're running this game. Just trying to go across here. There's even some more advanced strats you can do at the very beginning, jumping around those spikes, but yeah.
So we have Clash over here on Sinister's. That's one of my favorite stages. There's just a lot of precise movement. They're actually going to do different strats here. Sinister's going to try to set up the first Death Warp here from the second screen. Okay. So this looks a little confusing because he's in the wall. Basically, he has wrapped himself into a screen. Like, he's in-game memory is actually in a different screen than what's displayed visually. So he's just going through. He's going to take a death. He actually walked forward to the checkpoint room before dying, and it's going to respawn him here, which saves him, quite a bit of time.
All right. Again, there's 5 different patterns that Airman can give you here on Duckfist's screen. And there's a lot of nuance to understand about this fight. Very good Airman fight by Duckfist.
If you get him before he jumps on the right side, you've had a very good fight.
Yeah. There's a lot of nuance. I remember Duckfist actually made a tutorial about this for Mega Man 2 going into the tournament last year. And there was so much time spent on just, all right, if he gives you this pattern, you want to jump up and take damage in this specific position to drop you in certain places. It's pretty detailed. So expertly executed there by him.
So Sinister has a very good item 3 climb there. Basically, as you're climbing the ladder, there's a 3 or 4 frame window for each one where you can place A and B at the same time and actually land on the item 3. Normally it would appear above you and you'd have to climb up to it. It saves you a lot of time to do it that way. It's a really, really smooth climb there.
All right, Duckfist is going to be going for a little more advanced strat here. I think we're just calling this one the Duckfist. Let's see if he's able to pull it off. He's going to try to zip here on the first screen instead of the second. Ooh, it's extremely difficult. One of the most difficult strats in the game for sure. So he's going to go for the regular one here. Fortunately, you're going to have to reset the screen because once those cans start moving over, it's going to be pretty tough.
The zip from the first screen is colloquially known as Task Clash. It's really difficult strat that not a lot of runners go for.
So again, you're seeing him switch to heat. That's because he's charging up heat, dropping, killing himself, and then releasing the heat, which that cancels out the audio of the dying animation. You just hear the heat instead, which gives you that instant respawn, saving good 3 or 4 seconds there.
I think anybody that's played this game casually has fond memories of Quick Man stage with these quick beams. It is it's a really well-known stage. We're going to see some fancy tech here. Sinister's going to be trying to set up a item 1 zip here, similar to what he did on the second screen of Clash. And there we are. So we're actually wrapped away from the screen. So what we're seeing isn't necessarily what screen he's on. He's going to have to screen transition in order to get back on the right screen. So he's going to screen wrap here. And now he's back on like the normal stage. You actually have to use flash there. Otherwise, you won't be able to wrap and the beams will get you before you can do so. Sinister switching to item 1, which means he's going to go for this zip here. And Sinister hits the zip. That's a really scary thing there. If you zip, basically you have to turn around on the right frame and actually hit the door. If you go past it, you soft lock. There's no way to get out of it. You can't be killed. You can't get into the boss room, and you have to password back to the screen. Or pass back to the stage and do the stage over again.
Quickman can be a bit of a jerk back there, just how he jumps around. If you miss him with a Clash Bomb, it just sits on the wall until it explodes. You can manipulate him to come over and take some damage from the explosion, but it's very difficult to work with. Nice two-shot there with Duckfist. Normally takes 3 hits with him, but you can get a double in based on his jump and based on if you release it, obviously, at the correct timing. All right, so after this barrage of extremely difficult stages, you get a little more chill stage here in Metal Man. You're going to be setting up for one of the more beginner-friendly zips right here, skipping over this entire the screws section.
Yeah, that section's no fun to play, so it's a lot of fun to zip over it. We've seen both Duckfist and Sinister take that one up there and quick, which is going to give them a little bit of a buffer later because there's still Death Warp to come.
That one that Sinister just went for saves about 1 second, I think. So, no kind of dedication. Yeah. And the placement of that item, too, is very important. You can see if you place it just a little bit too high or too low, it's not going to work. Too high, it'll despawn. Too low, you won't get around the enemies.
Yeah, you can see that the item 2 is a little bit faster than Mega Man is. So if you can do a full item 2 fly across the screen, you save a little bit of time.
This is the highest up item zip that Duckfist is having to set up. So again, as he's falling down, you can kind of see what the screen is going to be, what it actually is, when you're initially falling in, but then it swaps over to the fake one. And right here, that usage of Flash Stopper, that's not a safe strat in any way. You have to do it this way, otherwise you die. Just with how the beams are spawning in with where you're falling. And for anyone who's never played this game, those beams are one-shots. So, very important to not hit them.
Yeah, so with Duckfist having one item 1 here, he's going to show the other way of doing this screen. Obviously, you can see the zip across it is faster, but does carry that soft lock potential.
All right, so we got Sinister coming up here on Woodman. He's going to be dropping. They're both actually going to be using different strats here. Sinister's going to be doing these dog scrolls, or whatever it is, hot dog skip, we're calling it. He's going to be setting up, again, getting up into that ceiling. He's going to have to go across 3 screens here, and he's going to have to wiggle before each of them. The reason for the wiggling is because if you over-zip it, it will wrap you around. There's backups to kind of save yourself for all 3 screens, but you don't want it. And now, yeah. We're once again in a bad spot. We're once again in a bit of a wonky position. You might think like, okay, where are they right now? Sinister is actually like many screens ahead, and he has to just have it memorized where all the jumps are. There's pits he's actually jumping over, like one right there he would get stuck under. He's pulling out Quickman's power-up to make this trick much easier, not a frame perfect. And by him doing those pauses on the zips, it actually extends how far you zip. Because, again, every time you pause the game, it resets your fall position, extending that a little bit further. And now, once again, releasing here. And we're in the boss corridor. So, yeah, that was pretty crazy.
Speed magic.
Duckfist able to get the good fly over all these enemies. Getting up to Metal Man himself. And definitely doing the Woodman fight with Airman's power-up is a little wonky. You have to be positioned just right to where you release the air directly into his hitbox, as opposed to just from anywhere, which will get blocked by the the leaf shield.
Yeah, that's the fight that's going to be different between normal and difficult mode. In normal mode, you can charge up 1 heat shot and just blast him away with it. But in this mode, you need 2, and so he would put up his shield again, so it's better to shoot through the shield.
All right, so here we are, Sinister on the last of the 8 Robot Masters. Another one of the differences between these two with what strats they're going to be using. He takes a damage boost right there just so he can frame through that other frog thing. I forgot what it was called. Croaker. No, that was the American one. Yeah, something. Yeah, okay. Yes, that was the thing. He's going to be dropping down here, setting up another one of the kind of the big famous zips of this game. He's going to be dropping an item 1 as he's falling, which looks like he did set up correctly. Push him into the ceiling once again, shooting him all past this section.
I think that was one of the first zips that was known before you could get items to push you in the ceiling, because you can actually pause buffer that over and over and get in the ceiling.
You're seeing this different strat here by Duckfist. He needs to get this little mini zip right there, which he got.
I think that's going to be it. I think you got it.
I believe, dude. I believe so hard. Yeah. Oh, my God. All right, now he's going to be setting up for the same craziness that Sinister just set up for. Again, he's got to wait for a very specific position on Mega Man, and then you have to tap A or jump a certain amount of times to get up there. So once again, pausing there gives him that little bit of extra distance to not fall in a pit. After he wraps over the screen one more time, he does a couple of jumps there. Now he's going to be shooting the boomerangs, get on the ladder, and once again pause to extend him past another pit.
That's a very good 8 robots for Sinister, by the way.
Coming up here and releasing. Very good.
You have to be careful when you actually release and take that death. If you go too early, you won't make it into the corridor, and you'll actually respawn back at the checkpoint. It's a pretty...
Once again, Duckfist has got to be able to get very close to him and drop these air weapons right into his hitbox. Very good.
Nice.
That was a good fight. Yeah. That might seem mundane, but it's pretty precise where you have to stand for them to actually hit him. Otherwise, the leaf shield will just block it. So now, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say, Sinister coming into the Wily stages here, which are the difficulty definitely ramps up, both casually and from a speedrun perspective. I think some people are familiar with this song that's coming up here.
It's nice Mega Man 2 song. What's important right off the bat to understand is that unlike the Robot Master stages, all of your items don't come back and get refilled after every stage. So they have to balance out. They have to route out their usage completely. Important there, you see that bird's flying. He despawned the egg, but not the bird. Because by the bird flying over, it despawns some of that toothpaste that those enemies shoot out right there.
Is that name in the manual too?
I'm pretty sure I read that. Now he's going to be setting up for a ceiling zip. He's putting in that top item 1 there. See how it kind of catches him after the bottom one pushed him up. And that's what allows him to zip all the way to the top of the screen here. So very nicely executed here. But now we got one of the worst screens in the entire run. This one commonly can kill runs. Let's hopefully it won't happen for Sinister here. He's going to be setting up for another ceiling zip here. Yeah, he's opting out
He
of
realized
it.
very quickly that one was going to despawn, and he wisely took the ladder and didn't fall.
All right, switching over to Duckfist here. Let's go. Oh, my gosh! Woo! All right, Sinister's going to have to stop for 2 minutes just because that was so swag, just to make up for it. That is, I mean, fast. I don't
That's
know
a very difficult strategy.
that, I've always heard that is the most difficult strat in the game.
Yeah,
Or at
I'm
least
not-
one. It's hard. It's a
Yeah,
run
not many
full of
people do it,
strats.
put it that way. It's a very difficult strat.
And
if
he
you don't
nailed
do
it
it in the first or
try.
second try, you're not going to save time. So
All right, Sinister doing a little bit different strat here. He's going to go up on the top block because now if he takes a hit, as you can see, it's safe. It puts him back onto that block. So really good Wily one for Sinister. Some of you might wonder what the opting out of the zip was. If you look at the item 1, it needs to be left of center. The like 1 in the middle of it has to be left of the ceiling. Otherwise, it will just break and you'll fall and you'll lose a ton of time. In addition to just being down 6 item 1s, which ammo is everything right now in this run through the Wily stages. There is some ammo right back here from the start. Sinister electing to not grab it. There are a couple places where you can look for refills. Going to be setting up for another zip here. Going to take some damage off these guys to walk through the spikes. Set up an item 1.
wow,
Slipping in. That was barely. Again, pausing there to extend that onto the ladder. I love that zip. Without that pause, you're just on the spikes, not having fun.
yeah. The tricky part with those item 1 placements is placing them far enough left that they don't despawn, but not too far left where you can't actually get yourself in the wall. And Sinister was definitely straddling the line there.
Duckfist, again, despawning the egg, but not the bird, because that's going to despawn this toothpaste
toothpaste
right
right there.
here, allowing you to jump over it.
That's a nice item 2 jump there. That's more difficult than it looks.
All right, again, he's going to be dropping 2 item 1s here at very specific positions. The bottom one's going to push him up, then the top one's going to give him another little boost, allowing him to go to the top of the screen. Very well executed there by Duckfist. Again, coming up on one of the worst screens in the run. Repositioning himself just a little bit there.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Impossible trick. Duckfist
Pretty
even going for the
common
more advanced strat where you jump on the item too, so you don't, every time you place an item in this game, you actually kind of stick when you land. You can probably see it, and so when you land, you kind of want to jump again, but that makes that section really precise to pull off.
This boss we got here on the left side for Sinister, I guess right side for you guys. We've got the Pico boss. His weakness is actually to bubble lead, but we're electing to just use Metal Blade instead. It takes 3 shots of Metal Blade. Ooh, okay, very nice. It takes 3 with the Metal Blade, but bubble lead, you can't control its direction at all. Metal Blade, in addition to just being really powerful, also you can control any diagonal or straight direction. All right, see Duckfist here. Whoa! Bit of a man mode strat right there.
That's some mashing right there.
Electing for just straight mashing. So if he had been hit there, he did. So, yeah. Showing off a little more advanced strat there. Just got to be confident in your mashing.
Wily 3 is considered the breather of the castle stages, but as you can see, there's still spikes everywhere. That water looks a little disgusting to me.
Yeah, it's I don't want to know what part of Wily's castle this is. So, all right, we got Duckfist here on your left side of the screen. Okay, he's going to be taking the damage boost here, walking across the spikes, setting up the item 1. That should be enough. Yep. Pausing to give himself that extra distance and grabbing the ladder. Very nice there. That was really that is the most difficult menu in the run. It's a ton of inputs compared.
I think it's like 7 inputs or something.
Yeah, because the leaf shield's in the middle of the menu. So, all right, real quick, I do want to call attention on your right side of the screen. We got Sinister here. Optimally, the true gods can do this in like 3 jumps. He's gonna do it in 6, but this looks commonly what it would be for me.
That stink, please.
Yo, the 6 jump. Heck yeah, dude. Remember, everyone, you at home can also speedrun.
Wow.
All right, so Duckfist taking on Pico as well. Again, it's going to take 3 Metal Blades for each. And what's great is Metal Blade just has a ton of ammo that comes with it. You can see it's barely moving. So even though he's going to be using it a lot later on in the run, it's still worth it to use it here. Sinister on the right side of your screen, picking up that item 1 refill there. This is a lovely little zip right here. Pushes you up into the ceiling, just whoop, right over that little annoying guy. This is Wily 4. This is debatably the most difficult level in the entire run.
If you played this game, you remember this one for sure.
Yeah. We're going to get another ceiling zip here. That one's pretty easy. You just line up the item 3 on the wall, which it will, and it'll naturally push you up into it. He's going to try to get one right here, jumping off that, pushing him up, hopefully up into the ceiling, pausing to extend it halfway across that hallway. Very nice. We're only halfway through it, though. This level is an absolute monster. All these platforms, you could be riding them around. We're not going to elect to do that. A little bit. He's going to drop an item 1 here right through the wall, set up to where he doesn't have to do any waiting for the platform there. This screen right here is always pretty scary. Iframes are just running out as you're getting over those spikes. Here's a scary drop.
Yeah, it's a pretty tricky jump.
Whoop! Again, resetting your fall position. And now the last part of the stage for the boss, we have got one more zip to go across this long hallway. He's going to start wiggling here. Ooh, okay.
Good.
Now, okay, this extends into here. He needs to fall onto that top platform right there. Very nice. Dropping the crash bomb right there, which is going to double kill both the boo beam and the wall right there. Right there, that was intentional damage. He's going to try to damage transfer right here. He hasn't taken damage yet because, as you can see, he just walked straight into that one. He unfortunately missed the double right there on the gate, which causes him very nice Wily 4. Very nice, I'm telling you. Other than losing, we got a 4 jump. Yo, that looked amazing, Sinister. That was good. All right, so Sinister is down 1 crash bomb. That's going to switch up a strategy he's going to have to use on the Wily boss coming up here in Wily 5.
This is the single biggest difference between normal mode and difficult. All these bosses you have to hit basically twice as many times, and your ammo is limited as well, especially with being short 1 crash bomb. He's going to have to be careful to not take a death here.
And again, Quickman's weakness is to the crash bomb, but we want to save that one we have left for Wily himself. So you just got to fight him with a buster. See, Duckfist also getting the sweet little zip right there. Dropping those item 3s. Climb the ladder a little bit faster. Yeah, also in Sinister, what he's doing, he's having to route out exactly where he's going to pick up health in certain places. He might be a little bit safer, the fact that he's down 1 crash bomb, making Wily just last longer, but we'll see what he elects for it.
Yeah, the way the refights is routed out has to do with making as few menu switches as possible, because there's a lot of bosses you can actually kill with the same weapon and save a menu.
Duckfist working through, again, a lot of these extremely scary stages. Good fight there by Sinister against Airman. And we're going to be dropping here for Duckfist. Pausing, resetting your fall velocity, and dropping that item 1. Now he's going to be setting up for the big Wily 4 zip right here. Getting our way in there. Again, you don't want to over-zip that door, otherwise, it's not a soft lock, but you lose a ton of time for it. Looks like you properly set that double. Now he's going to be looking to take damage himself. Again, he's storing that damage effectively, and then he's going to transfer it to one of the boo beams.
That one's a little low.
That might be a little low.
I think that double is a 2-frame window. It's extremely tight.
So he's going to be going for a backup here on different damage transfer. Wasn't able to get it, so he's going to be down both crash bombs for the Wily fight. Sinister having to work without one there. Okay. Very nice for Sinister. So as you can see, the crash bombs, there's a lot of little nuance to where you have to place them to where it's going to get stuck on him and do that repeated damage every frame.
Yeah, you want to wait until the Wily machine is moving back so he drags himself back into the explosion. Duckfist is going to have an interesting Wily machine fight here without either crash bomb.
Sinister dropping down here for one more zip across this entire hallway.
This one you don't even have to do anything. Just stand in the wall. It'll start zipping you.
Now, he doesn't want to over-zip it.
Okay. We're
All
in
right.
there.
So here we are on the alien fight, the final fight of the game. It's going to take 28 shots with the bubble lead in order to kill him. Everything just does 1 damage, and it's the only thing that hurts him.
And I think if you touch the alien, it's like 20 damage.
It's 20 damage
yeah, don't touch
out of a
the
total
alien.
of 28 max health. That is not what we want to do, is hug the alien. As you can see, he can only have 2 bubbles on screen at once, so he's having to switch it up. He's trying to take damage off of these shots.
Okay.
Very good time there by Sinister. 29:07 there by Sinister. Switching over our focus here on Duckfist. Again, a similar dance that you had with Heatman in the regular fights. Ooh, taking a big damage there. Picking up that health.
10 damage from Heatman. How's that fair?
So now this is Metal Blade's time to shine. It's going to be effectively the weakness for the next 3.5 bosses. He has no crash stuff, so we might see some Buster strats. We'll see what he elects for. All right, Metal Man, good effort there.
Yeah, in normal mode, your Metal Blade ammo wouldn't be as much of a concern. But you're going to be a little bit lower here with no crash bombs. You had to use a lot more Metal Blade than you would in the normal mode.
So we got 2 phases of the Wily machine right here.
Yeah, it's...
So unfortunately now we're going to have to do the fight. We're down to just our Buster at this point, really. The fight gets so much worse on Rockman 2 or difficult mode without having the crash bombs.
Duckfist definitely no stranger to Buster strats. Damageless first phase.
Oh,
That was,
easy
yeah, that was a
mode.
really good second phase. Since you can only have 3 shots on screen, Duckfist got closer there after taking damage to match as many shots in his face as he could. That was really good.
Woo! All right, again, setting up for our final zip of the game. You can see how empty all of our inventory is. Again, just going through 6 stages here with just 1 set of them. Routed so well.
This is definitely one of the more optimized Mega Man speedruns, and it's routed pretty tightly.
All right, we didn't overshoot it. All right, Duckfist is going to show us some pretty tight mashing here on the alien. Again, 28 shots you need here of bubble lead. Oh, oh, that is nasty.
That's a great kill.
GG, gentlemen.
GG.
That is a very, very difficult speed game. It takes no prisoners. Everything's routed so tightly. So, great job by both gentlemen. We are just getting the Mega Man block started. After that, my buddy right here, Fast CC, is going to be showing us how to play Mega Man 3.
We'll try.
A little faster than how you and I did it. So, all right. Cool.